Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we are doing something pretty exciting. We're stepping right into the shoes of a master detective. We're going to break down a really thrilling locked room-style puzzle and analyze exactly how a sharp investigative mind synthesizes a bunch of scattered, seemingly random clues to solve a complex crime. Our subject today is the famous Detective Mihul, and we're dissecting one of his most fascinating cases, step by step. So let's dive right in. This right here is the ultimate question we're answering today. And honestly, I want you to actively test your own deductive reasoning against Detective Mihul as we walk through this. Seriously, try to stay one step ahead. Every single piece of information we're looking at today is a vital puzzle piece. So, how do you spot a killer hiding in plain sight? Well, you kind of have to start by noticing what literally everyone else overlooks.
All right, let's get into it. Section 1. The bathtub crime scene.
Our story kicks off with a building manager, Mr. Sham, making a truly horrifying discovery up on the isolated 14th floor. He finds the victim, Lolita, and Detective Mihul is immediately called in. Now, when Mihul arrives, the scene is just chaotic and grim. The front door of the apartment left completely open. Mr. Sham had followed this trail of dirty, muddy water right across the floor, leading straight into the bathroom. And inside, the victim is found completely submerged in an overflowing bathtub. Most notably, the body appears heavily bloated. Now, to the untrained eye, this just looks like a tragic, accidental drowning, right? A terrible mishap. But Mihul? He's instantly suspicious. Something is way off. Here's where the genius kicks in. While everyone else is completely fixated on the water and the victim, Mihul is scanning the surrounding bathroom surfaces. And he spots something huge. Exactly 2 distinct sets of fingerprints at the scene. This is an absolutely crucial pivot point. Instantly, Mihul deduces that this was no accident, and it definitely wasn't a solo act. This is murder, and the killer had an accomplice.
Moving right along to Section 2, CCTV and elevator clues.
Okay, knowing he's looking for a duo, Mihul shifts his focus from the micro details of the bathroom to the macro details of the building itself. If someone came up here, they absolutely left a digital footprint. After chatting with the manager, Mihul gets a massive geographic clue. That 14th floor is completely isolated. Lolita was literally the only resident living on that level. Plus, the 15th floor right above it is completely empty. So while the lower floors are bustling, this specific high-rise section is basically a ghost town. Because of this isolation, the killer and their accomplice had no choice but to use the elevator to access the crime scene. There's just no other way up there without drawing a ton of attention. And this brings us to a brilliant piece of timeline logic. Watch how Mihul mathematically eliminates suspects here. First, he pulls the CCTV and elevator logs to isolate any trips directly to the 14th floor. Next, he finds a specific trip and sees exactly 3 people in the lift. The killer has to be one of them. Then, Mihul uses a bit of medical know-how. He remembers that heavily bloated body, right? Well, he knows it takes roughly 3 to 4 hours for a body to bloat to that extent in water. That means the killer had to be inside that room for several hours to make sure their staging worked. Finally, by cross-referencing the exit times on the CCTV, Mihul eliminates the other passengers. Only one man, a guy named Shivam, remained on that floor for that exact 3 to 4 hour window. Boom, we have our prime suspect. Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, tracking the suspect. Okay, so Mihul knows exactly who he's looking for, but finding him? That's a whole different challenge. He finds out Shivam lives in the adjacent building, but when he gets there, the apartment is locked tight. The guy is on the move. Digging a little deeper, Mihul interviews the local security guard to map out Shivam's daily routine. And this is a great example of the power of just asking the right questions. Mihul uncovers a major wardrobe discrepancy. Earlier in the day, on his first CCTV sighting, Shivam was wearing a highly formal attire. We're talking a coat and tie. But later, seen in casual clothing? Mihul realizes Shivam didn't just run away. He went to work, finished his shift, and then changed. If Mihul can figure out where he works, he can predict exactly where he might be heading next. So let's play along. There are 3 neighboring commercial buildings where Shivam could realistically work: a gym, a car repair shop, and a hotel. Let's apply our clue. A gym requires athletic wear, so that's a 0% probability. A car repair shop, you'd need overalls or heavy work clothes, so 0% chance there too. But a hotel? A hotel requires professional, formal attire, like a coat and tie, 100% probability. Mihul hits the nail on the head. He now knows exactly where Shivam was employed. But wait, Mihul hasn't forgotten that very first clue, the second set of fingerprints, the accomplice. Mehul heads back to the apartment building to check the physical escape routes. And guess what he discovers? The main stairs are completely blocked by active construction work. The guards confirm nobody has passed through. So if the elevators are monitored and the stairs are physically blocked, Mehul has a stunning realization. The accomplice who left those prints never escaped. They are still trapped somewhere inside the building. Things are really heating up now. Section 4, the autopsy twist. As Mehul is coordinating a sweep of the building to find this hidden accomplice, he's searching the victim's room and notices something missing. Lolita's ATM card is gone, so a financial motive is starting to take shape. But right as he's piecing this together, his phone rings. It's Dr. Sanjana, the medical examiner, and she delivers an absolute bombshell. Death was not caused by drowning, but by strangulation. Wow. The dirty water, the overflowing bathtub, the bloated body, the whole shebang was an elaborate, staged cover-up. The killer purposely placed the body in the water to confuse the time and cause of death, banking on the police ruling it a tragic accident. It was cold, it was calculated, and incredibly deceptive. And that catapults us into our final act, Section 5, the railway station puzzle. Okay, the stakes are literally life and death right now. It's a brutal murder for financial gain, and the net is finally closing in on our fleeing suspect Shivam. Let's look at how fast these final events unfold. First, Mehul immediately contacts the bank to track the location of that stolen ATM card. Then, he gets that crucial autopsy report confirming the strangulation. Almost simultaneously, the building manager calls in a panic. A man matching Shivam's description just bolted from the building guards. And suddenly, this high-speed chase leads them directly into the absolute worst possible location for a manhunt, a highly congested, totally chaotic railway station. Mehul arrives on the scene completely out of breath. And the station is just packed. We are talking about a massive sea of commuters, travelers, luggage everywhere. It is pure chaos. Shivam has successfully blended right into the crowd. He's nowhere to be seen. Finding one specific guy who just changed into casual clothes in this kind of environment seems, well, mathematically impossible. Yet, despite all the chaos, Mehul just stops, scans the massive crowd, and smiles. He spots him. But how? Well, this brings us back to you. Among a massive sea of people, how did Mehul identify Shivam? Think about the timeline we literally just discussed. Think about the specific action Mehul took right before the chase began regarding the victim's belongings. The clue to catching the killer isn't in what he looks like. It's in the digital trail he's leaving behind in that very station. I'm going to leave you to ponder that puzzle. Keep your deductive skills sharp,